went up to them and like after the game and just asked for their order?
Yeah, well, before the during the game, during the game I'd be next to Cal Ripken. You know, if I was playing second base, he'd be at second base. Cal, listen, I'm going to send the ball over. Do you mind? Would you sign it for me? And all the guys always were fine with it. I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I'd have a clubhouse kid go over to their clubhouse.
Oh yeah.
Sign the ball for them. That would be pretty neat.
Like before games, like during batting practice, like are there like schedules that you have to like certain days you can't sign before games and stuff? Cause
some of the superstars they have their own schedules. But for the most part, I mean, once the umpires come out on the field, you can't sign. But during batting practice, you can sign, and as long as you get your work in, you know, you get your batting practice and you fielding and stuff like that, you can go ahead and sign. Sometimes they have us doing things in the clubhouse or going up to the suites and kind of visiting with them, and that's why we can't sign. But for the most part, you can sign.
Well, like, what was like the weirdest thing like you've ever signed? Like someone like this is like something that like just pops out.
Well, I've had someone had me sign a golf ball before, and I was like, why am I signing a golf ball right now? It was really difficult. You can imagine with the dimples in the ball. Oh, I always loved signing autographs, and my agent would call me up with like deals from like the card companies and say, hey, would you sign 10,000 cards for X amount or something like that? I would always be the ones, and I'd call them up and say, listen, if you ever get those deals, those card deals, I'll do it, because I enjoy doing it, and it doesn't really take much to do it. You sit down at your house after a game and knock out 500 or 1,000 cards a day, and so I always liked it.
I wish I could do that someday, but I have to get into the pros first.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Yeah, like a ton of stuff.
I've got a ton of stuff. I was a big baseball card collector growing up. When I was a kid, I mean, I've got a huge baseball card collection. And I didn't really, as a kid, I didn't get autographs.
Yeah.
But when I got to the major leagues, that's when I started getting all these autographs. And then I got into it, and then I would, you know, even guys that have passed away with Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, and stuff like that, I would be able to, you know, trade guys different things. But the thing for me that I like the most is I had Don Mattingly sign his jersey for me, and he personalized it to me. And Don Mattingly was always my favorite player growing up.
Yeah.
So it was a thrill of mine. I always used to go to the games, you know, maybe 5 games a year, 5 Yankee games with my dad, and I would always like just focus on Don Mattingly. Whenever he would change his stance, because he would always change his stance from time to time, I would change my stance in the Little League. So when I finally got to meet him when he was a coach for the Yankees, it was a thrill of mine. I went right up to him. I said, Don, you know, you're my hero. You're my, you know, the player that I loved growing up. Would you sign a jersey for me? So sure enough, he signed the jersey, personalized it to me, and that's the thing I cherish the most.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
4 girls at home. I was hoping to have a son to be able to pass it on to him, and I do with my daughter. I buy her cards every now and then, and she gets into it a little bit. My oldest, my 12-year-old, but not as much as I was into it. I always loved, you know, I knew everyone's stats. I knew, you know, I would check those baseball cards. You know, so I knew them front and back, and I organized them, you know, in team order and in like number order. So I have a pretty good system.
Yeah, like my mom's into like the sports stuff. Like my dad over here is
really
into like politics, but
is that right?
Yeah.